because a lot of people want to know. Whatever you can tell us, please let us know. The first thing I have to ask you, sir, when and why did Malik Akkad decide to even do this film?
You mean what do you mean?
Yeah,
When he does? Or,
when did he say, you know what, we're gonna do Halloween 3D?
um, well, I don't know that it was necessary. I mean, I assume he made that decision before Rob Zombie because Halloween 3 was originally supposed to follow Rob's movie.
Okay,
That's
and
how that's how
you
Patrick and I got involved.
you were the writer, correct?
Yeah, when Rob had gone into production and we had pitched we pitched several things, several of their franchises, and and then Rob started shooting. I think we had just sold Drive Angry, and we got a call from Bob saying, "Would you guys be willing to do Halloween 3?" Because Rob doesn't want to do another one. And I mean, who would say no to that? I mean, it's a Halloween movie. And so now, at that point, Halloween 2 hadn't been out yet. And
Whoa, wait a minute. Hold on 1 second. Did you just say Halloween 2 hadn't been out? You mean it wasn't even in theaters yet? You mean,
Rob Zombies? No, it was. They were shooting it at the time.
okay, wait a wait. Hold on 1 second, sir. I'm sorry to interrupt you. But you guys were contemplating a third film before the second one was even released in theaters?
The second one was being shot. They were filming it when they called us about doing 3.
Wow, that is dedication right there.
And
That kind of
so,
that kind of reminds me of when Mustafa, the late great Mustafa Akkad, rest in peace to him, of course. But that reminds me of when he was actually he was talking about doing Halloween 6 while filming 5.
but I mean,
That
that's not anything. I mean, that's it's a franchise. I mean, you should be thinking that.
that's great, man. No, I'm applauding you guys for that. That's good. That's dedication, man. Thank you for that. I'm just sorry it didn't go anywhere. I mean, I didn't like the idea of Rob's storyline, but you
Well,
know,
we what we did was a little different in that the first 30 minutes of what we wrote was, it's our script started at the end of Rob's movie. So they were in
okay.
the shack, and so it's basically the end of that movie, and we so in about 30 minutes in, we killed Michael, and
Wow.
so when Michael, so then you cut to a year later, and Laurie is in an institution, and then you cut back to the Shape coming into it's like a week from Halloween, and there's a bunch of guys stalking some Rite Aid or something, and there's one single white-faced mask, the classic iconic mask, on the shelf. And when the kid's asking his manager, can we even sell these? Should I get rid of this? And the guy's just leave it on the shelf. And then the kid turns and Michael's standing there. We don't see him, but he kills the kid and he takes the mask. And so through the rest of the movie, it's sort of a return to John Carpenter's The Shape.
Oh wow. So it was actually going to be more like Carpenter's version of Michael Myers.
Yeah, Carpenter's version, but with Tyler in the body. So, the first 30 minutes was sort of a tribute to what Rob had done, in a big sort of bloody, gory kind of way, at the end of which we killed Michael. And then up to a year later, and it's sort of the return of the Shape. And so for the last hour of the movie, it was the Shape trying to get to Laurie.
So
And it
I
was,
mean, that's as close to a Halloween 9 as we could ever possibly get, because the fans have been begging for that, but it's not going to happen, as you know.
well, we couldn't, the problem was Patrick and I were going off to make Drive Angry, and Bob and Harvey wanted to make it before we left, which time-wise didn't give us a lot of time. And we were going to do it, but they got worried that the problem was if we had signed on with them, and if anything happened, they could have delayed Drive Angry. And Bob and Patrick had been friends for ages, all the way back to Scream, and he didn't want to put us in that position. So we decided to wait until after Drive Angry wrapped, and then we'd shoot it the following year. But then instead of working on Drive Angry, they came back to us and said, "Hey, can we work on Hellraiser instead?" So we spent 6 to 8 months working on Hellraiser.
Well, even though you sort of already did that, can you reveal the plot of H3D at all, or?
I mean, that's essentially what it was. It was Michael trying to get to his sister, and we're not certain if she's insane, or we don't know if she's on Michael's side or if she's on her own side, or through all of that, it's sort of a trying to guess what's going to happen when they get back together.
And this person was supposed to be portrayed by Scout Taylor Compton. Is that correct?
Yeah, Scout would have played Laurie, and my good friend Mr. Maine would have played Michael.
Oh my goodness. And that's another thing, sir. I hope to get him on here as well. I have to, I'm trying to get all the people I can get because I love horror movies. That's just me. I love horror films. So, it's such a pleasure. I want to thank you again. Thank you for being on here. I really mean that.
Well, it's my pleasure.
And I have to ask you, if Michael is human, now this is the funny part. If he's human, how the hell is he in H3D? How is he there?
What do you mean?
Well, because, alright, you guys, not you necessarily, but the Halloween people, if I can say that, I don't know what you would call them, but they made a big deal, and they made a point of saying Michael is human. He's not like the other Michael. The other Michael was supernatural. This one is more like a nutcase, a messed up human being. So if he's human, how is it that he survives getting shot in the head? How is it that he survives getting shot in the chest, all in his torso, and he lives, and now he's in your film? Please clear that up for us. How's he alive?
You can't believe everything you see.
I don't understand. Could you please?
Well, because sometimes you're seeing things through a character's POV, through their point of view.
Okay.
Sometimes their point of view is a little skewed. So you might not actually see everything that's happening. I mean, haven't we seen Michael beheaded at one point?
We have.
He wasn't beheaded.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's the power of storytelling. Things can change.
Are you a fan? Just before we get back on topic, are you a fan of Halloween Resurrection?
I am.
Okay, see, a lot of people don't like that one, but it's good to know that you like it. So I have somebody on my side, Somebody likes Resurrection. That's great. And my next question for you would have to be, was Halloween 3D supposed to be the final installment in the Rob Zombie timeline?
No.
No? You're joking, right?
I would say no. I mean, we were introducing. The movie certainly opened in the Rob Zombie timeline, but at least the idea was that we killed Michael off. He comes back because that's what Michael, Jason, and Freddy always do. But when he comes back less the T-Rex and more the shape. If that makes sense.
Yeah, well, I think they would love this. If they don't love it, I know I certainly do. Now I want to see the movie. I'm sorry.
I'm not the person who hates the Rob Zombie version. I mean, in many aspects, the Rob Zombie version feels like the more accurate, the more realistic. It's sort of like Armageddon and Deep Impact. I mean, one feels a little more real than the other. The other feels
wow. You know what, sir? With all due respect, I have to strongly disagree with you because you're saying that it's more realistic, and it may be. That's understandable because in this new continuity, Michael Myers doesn't teleport, if I can use that word, because it seems like that's what he was doing in 1 through 8, like he was teleporting, but he doesn't do that in in your film or in Rob's films. He's more human, and I use that term loosely. I don't like that aspect. I liked him better when he seemed more demonic, like he was the devil, you know?
Right, but you're talking about what you like, not what is realistic.
That's true. That's true.
And
And
I'm just saying I appreciate the fact that I like I like Halloween, the original Halloween. I mean, I love Halloween. It's one of the four iconic movies that made me who I am. I love the movie. I love the fact that he gets shot, falls off the balcony, you look off the balcony, he's gone. I like all of that. I also, at the same time, can appreciate what Rob did, which is to take that mystical character and remove the mysticism and present us with the reality of what that character is. I can appreciate that. Now, I may not write that movie. It may not have been the way I was going to go, but I can certainly appreciate what he was trying to do, where he was trying to make Michael a real character, a real person. And as a guy who likes movies and who likes different stories, all different stories, I certainly appreciate that.
does the original script still exist? Do you have the script for H3D lying around, or?
Yeah, of course I do.
Wow, man, would I love to read that thing?
Well, if I owned it, you could.
Well, my next question has to be, when and why did you drop out of the project?
What project? Halloween 3D?
Yes.
Well, it's like I said before, they realized we didn't have enough time to shoot it before Patrick and I had to go make Drive Angry.
And what were your plans? Like, were you planning on a 2009 shoot and a 2010 release, or a 2010 shoot, a 2011 release? How were you going to do it?
I don't have a clue. You'd have to go back and look at tweets and stuff. Whenever we were writing it, we were planning to release it for the following Halloween. I forget what year it was. We shot Drive Angry in 2010, so maybe it was into 2009, so it would have been a 2010 release. I don't know. I'd have to go back and look. I jumped from one script to the next so often I can't remember when anything was written. I just know I wrote it. I have it on a PDF somewhere.
So basically, you just didn't have time to do it? Is that what's going on?
I'd have to go back and look at the exact dates all this took place. I mean, if you had interest, it's all written at wendigo.com, which is my website, which I haven't really updated in forever, but there's a journal there. And if you scroll back through to, it would have been 2000, probably late 2009, I was telling the whole story as we were doing it.
Okay, yeah, I think I remember seeing something about that.
And I'm pretty sure I journaled it so that I wouldn't have to remember it because, I've killed too many brain cells over the years.
Yeah.
We were going to have to go into production and finish the movie before Christmas.
Wow.
But we were writing it. In order to do that and in order to prep the movie, we needed so many weeks to actually prep the movie. And we needed so many weeks to actually shoot the movie, which meant when all of this happened, we had 10 days to write the movie. Now, we already had an extremely detailed outline. It was probably a 30 or 40-page outline. And so writing it wasn't the difficult thing. It was just literally putting it all down on paper. So Patrick got out there and people were being hired. We brought in Gary Tunnicliffe, who'd done the effects on all the other movies. We were bringing our casting, we're bringing in everybody. And we finished the script. I think we finished it in about 8 days. I wrote the first draft, gave it to Patrick. He did a quick pass on it. We sent it to the Weinsteins, I think, on a Saturday. And by Monday, they basically pulled the plug. It's not because they didn't love the script. They actually really loved the script. The lawyer loved the script. Malik loved the script. Everybody who read it loved it. It's just the concern was we didn't have time to shoot it. If anything went wrong, if we had a rain day, if somebody broke their wrist, if something unforeseen happened, the movie wouldn't finish before Christmas. And if the movie didn't finish before Christmas, we would be forced to come back after Christmas and finish it. And if that happened,